Cardboard cut out, sharp teeth, smart mouth, smile big, small waist, big hips, cut pace. Forgive me, but you look familiar. Wrong queen, me.
Hello everyone, this is your girl Nia Campbell and you're watching a new episode of Meet the People, and I'm sitting next to Beyonce. No, I'm sitting next to the #1 Beyonce impersonator, DC's own Beyonce, Riley Knoxx. Hi. Oh my gosh. I'm literally sitting here and when I came in I was like, she's so gorgeous. I was just telling her, I was like, I wanted my hair to look amazing. Like, I had to make sure, like, you're just absolutely beautiful.
I appreciate that.
That says something. So tell me how this journey of becoming an impersonator, Beyonce impersonator, started.
It kind of happened by accident, but not really. Like, I always knew I was going to be an entertainer. Ever since I was a little kid, I didn't know how that was going to happen. But I was kind of pushed out onto the stage by some friends of mine, and I wasn't pushed out on the stage to do Beyonce at the time, because I've been performing for 17 years, but it's been 14 as Beyonce. So when Crazy in Love came out in 2003, I started doing the song, and everybody's like, you're really good at it. And I was like, maybe I have something here. So then I kept doing it and kept doing it and kept perfecting it. And as she grew, I had to grow. And as she evolved and changed, I had to also. And it just kind of took off and became, it was never my goal ever. Two things were never my goal. It was my goal to be famous. It wasn't my goal to be known for that. It just kind of happened. And now I welcome it.
Okay, so can you tell me, like, what goes through your head before you're about to enter the stage?
I'm extremely nervous.
Okay.
I was extremely nervous the first time I ever performed, and I was extremely nervous the last time I performed, which was Sunday.
Nervous?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, nervous,
Wow.
every time. And I always say this, nervousness is good because it means that you really want something. So after 17 years, I still get nervous. And the nervousness happens on my way to the stage. I get really calm, and by the time everything comes on, I kind of just transform, and I'm able to do what I need to do. And on that stage, it's like, this is where I live. I'm more comfortable sometimes on stage than I am just awkward in real life.
I think it's crazy because Beyonce says the same thing. She's like, yeah, I'm like really shy, but when she hits the stage, she's Sasha Fierce.
Yeah,
So,
I think performing helped get rid of the shyness. I'm not shy anymore. I used to be when I was really young, especially since I'm performing in front of usually strangers, you know, not people that I know, but it really just kind of forced me. Simply because I'm up there and I'm just like, well, I can just do whatever I want to do because I'm not really myself. That's not really who I am. So I can just, it helps. The costumes help. The costume, the hair, the makeup, everything, it all kind of helps. And you might have heard people in movies say that also.
Yeah.
Once they are in the makeup and the hair and the costumes, it helps them become that character.
Okay, so speaking of costumes, rumor has it that you create most of the costumes or you design it. So can you tell me about that, the secret talent that I don't know if everyone knows?
That rumor is true. I make them all myself. I make everything I wear on stage and usually everything that the dancers wear on stage also.
That's crazy.
Yeah, especially since sometimes what people don't see, and in the future they will because I'm documenting everything, but what people don't see is that sometimes right before the performance, like maybe hours before or like the day before, the night before, I'm up stressed about the costume because I procrastinated and I didn't finish it. But yeah, I make every single thing. I'm kind of a control freak.
Okay, sounds like Beyonce.
So I don't feel like anyone can, you know, do. I've had people offer to make me things and I'm just like, I don't know, like, you know. And I have an eye for that. And what happens is I have stills of every costume she's worn, so I will blow the picture up and I will dissect every single detail of it so that my costume is exactly how it is. And
that's crazy. So do you still do your own makeup? Because I know that you are a makeup artist.
I was a makeup artist and no one ever in my entire life has done my makeup but me. I do my own hair, my own makeup, all my costumes.
Wait, you do your own hair? Okay.
I do everything. You know, no one makes me look like me better than me.
Okay.
And I won't even try. And it helps that I was a makeup artist. I was a celebrity makeup artist before, so I've never had to hire a makeup artist, and I think that's one of the things that keeps me calm because I'm in control of that.
Yeah.
Then if something goes wrong, I know it's
No, I totally
it's
agree.
my I can take the blame for that, but if I'm in control of it, I don't have to be so nervous about that. And maybe that's why I'm not nervous on stage, because I know.
Yeah, you know the source of where everything comes from,
Exactly.
and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So what would you say is probably your favorite song or favorite performance to perform?
I get asked that all the time.
All the time.
I do. I get asked that in interviews, but I also get asked that on like when I do like lives on Instagram or Facebook. I always say my favorite song to perform is any song that the audience is going to sing along to, but it's Beyonce.
It's Beyonce.
So everyone sings along.
Yeah.
The first song I ever performed was Crazy in Love.
Okay.
And I still perform that song as if it's my first time performing because I love it so much. I won't say that it's my favorite Beyonce song,
Okay.
but it's probably my favorite to perform. My favorite Beyonce song right now is All Night.
Oh my gosh, that's my favorite one too, because it's just a great song when it comes to
I
feelings.
still kind of tear up every
Yeah.
time I sing
The bridge? Or
Well,
just-
this one part where she says, "My torturer became my remedy."
Okay.
And that
okay.
part just makes me, for some reason, it just, I don't know, it gets to me. I think
Yeah.
with Crazy in Love, it's one of those things where it crescendos, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and it doesn't matter where you just have to dance to that song. Like, you just have to, and that's such an iconic song, and people really love to sing along with it. And, you know, I put the mic into the audience every time I say, "Who do you think he is?" Like, I always put that into the mic, and they, like, you know, the person on the front row always sings that part.
That song still also, like, Crazy in Love gets me chills just because, like, Jay-Z says at the beginning, like, this is the hit. Like, this is a song that you're going to know for the rest of your life. And I still remember as a little kid, I was over here like, trying to do that.
Yeah.
Had no rhythm, couldn't do it. But
And the audience always goes wild when I do that dance.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I won't say, well, my lead, no, you didn't ask that
No,
question,
what's your least favorite? Now, you brought it up. Okay, what's the least favorite?
Oh my God, please. Like, it's terrible because somebody's going to be like, that's my favorite song. Okay.
Yeah, what's Beyonce? So
My least favorite to perform, oh, my managers are going to kill me, is Single Ladies.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Why?
Not because I hate the song or
Yeah.
anything, it's just, it's so much work.
That's what I was about to say. That is
It
a
is
lot of
so much work, and it's probably the choreography that took me the longest to perfect, and everyone knows
That's
that.
what I was about to say. That people know
So
it,
it's,
so they know
if
when
I
you
mess up, they know. Even if I don't have dancers with me, like
Yeah,
if I
it's
mess
a
up,
pressure.
they
How do you feel when she drops a new song? Are you like, oh crap, gotta learn something new?
That's exactly how it is. It's like,
yeah.
I gotta do this too.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I went viral for the video, for a video I did of her pregnant.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Grammy performance. So when I first saw that performance, I was like, oh, this is gonna be like iconic. She went back in this chair. So everyone kept asking me, are you gonna do that? Are you gonna do that? And I was just like, I don't know. I felt like doing her pregnant might be like comedy. And I was just like, okay, if I do it, I wanna do it one time. And we found a way to make the chair go back.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. Thank God I did it because it paid off, and it kind of,
Escalated.
I became known for a lot more, you know, all over the world for it, and it went viral and all that stuff. That's great. But it was just sort of like, now I gotta do this. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
You know, it was crazy. So yeah. And when like Formation came out, I'm like, oh, I gotta learn that too. Wow, I got work. She keeps me busy. But that's great though, because then I never get tired of doing it.
Yeah.
I never get tired of performing anything of hers on stage. And I also, it's forced me to grow. And change signifies growth, so I've had to grow.
So for 17 years, like, she's remained relevant, therefore making you more relevant.
Exactly.
And now.
And it just so happens that, and we didn't know this at the time in 2003.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't know that she was going to become the biggest pop star of our time. I didn't know that.
That is crazy.
So now it's just sort of like, I got a lot to live up to. Yeah.
So growing up, did you take dance classes, or when did this skill for dancing come about?
That is probably the hardest part of what I do because I'm not a trained dancer.
Okay.
And I say that, but my dancers have said to me before, you can no longer say you're not a trained dancer. You've been in enough rehearsals.
17
you can't
years.
say that
You know.
But I'm not. I wasn't studied in dance or anything like that.
So for those that don't know, you are transgender.
Yes.
So can you tell me about that journey, I guess, like growing up, the struggles that you may have faced, maybe not knowing who you are?
That was hard. I always knew two things. I always say this. Two things I knew for sure. I was going to be an entertainer and I was going to be a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I always felt it, even as a very young child. I just thought that it was going to happen naturally. I didn't know it was going to be so much work to get there. But it was very hard for me as a child growing up in a time where I didn't have a lot of role models to look up to. And now it's different in a world where being trans is so in the forefront, but it was not that I'm 36 years old, same age as Beyonce. So think about it back then.
Are you a Virgo too, or no?
No, I'm not. I'm a few months older than her.
Okay, I was about to say, wait,
I'm a Taurus.
Are you sure you're not twins? Like she didn't have it.
No.
Okay.
But it was a really tough thing for me, and it's great now because I can use my story to inspire other people, other entertainers, no matter what they might have to go through, because everybody has something that they have to struggle through. For me, the way it showed up was being transgender.
Okay.
But there are also girls that I mentor or that just are fans of mine who also happen to be transgender, and they, in a way, I became a role model to those girls without me trying to be.
Okay.
Just through living my truth. And I think that's the best way that I can do it, is just to say, that's what I went through, and this is how I came out of it. There is light at the end of the tunnel.
It's the evolution.
Yeah.
Because I can only imagine, like, the process of just coming out, like...
Oh, that was pretty hard.
Yeah. And what year did you officially, like...
2006.
Well, you made... Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were doing Beyonce...
Before. Yeah.
So do you think that helped?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because it made me just really not care what people think as much. It helped me get out of the shyness, but it also helped me just be myself. When you have people, even if you're at a time where you don't love yourself that much, when you have people that love you, it starts to kind of like, oh, they love, and sometimes, that being on stage, being an entertainer kind of became my substitute for that love that I didn't have for myself at first, when I didn't have it.
Yeah.
I was so young when I first came out, and it was...
How old were you?
Well, I was in my 20s, my early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like 19 though.
Yeah, and that's the process. Like everyone says, the 20s are like the time where you get to know yourself.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
yeah.
Your 20s are for getting to make mistakes and really figure out who you are. You're not supposed to have all the answers in your 20s.
Yeah.
But the biggest mistake that most 20-something-year-olds make is they think that they should have all the answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that to myself all the time.
Yeah, my sister is in her 20s, and I have to tell her, you're putting too much pressure on yourself. Stop thinking that you have to have all the answers. 20s are for making the mistakes. Your 30s are for the lessons. And
for us, black doesn't crack. So you're 36, looking like you're 21.
I won't lie, I've had a little bit of help.
Okay. Just a little bit.
Just a little.
Yeah.
Honestly, a little. But I don't know. My mom still looks really young, and everyone in my family.
It's the genes.
Yeah, it's the genes.
It's the melanin.
It's the melanin.
But what can you say to that little boy or little girl that is struggling to get to know who they are? They may not be transgender, but they're still struggling to find themselves.
Well, when you're young, everyone goes through that, trying to find themselves. As a teenager, we're lost, and we're trying to figure out who we want to be and how to navigate through the world, and then your hormones are changing, all this stuff. When you're either gay or transgender, you go through that times 10. And I would say to them that, one, there is light at the end of the tunnel. It does get better, but the greatest gift you can ever give to yourself is knowing who you are. Once you've figured that out, everything else is like 80% done. Because you know what you'll settle for, especially me being in the entertainment industry, that was a crucial part of my life. And it's just, knowing who you are is power. That is a lot of power you have against all those people that say you can't do something, or say you'll never be, or that you're less than, or that you don't deserve. I had a lot of people tell me, you should do something else other than Beyonce. Imagine if I had listened to them. There are people that said to me, like, oh, people are sick of seeing you do Beyonce. This was back in around the B-Day era. Is there anything else you can do?
No.
And
you can't listen to that.
If I had listened to them, I would not be the top Beyonce impersonator in the country.
Yeah.
And I would not be so happy with what I'm doing.
I just want to say, emphasize on the country. So that person, whoever you are, that told you that people are tired of Beyonce,
Oh, I don't even know where they are anymore.
Bite your tongue.
And it wasn't just one person.
Yeah,
there were a lot of
multiple people. Yeah.
But this is the thing. The voice of the world can drown out the voice of God. You got to listen to that voice inside yourself, whatever you call it, the universe, God, whatever it is. You have to listen to that because that will never steer you wrong. But those people are there for a reason.
They are.
Haters
they
have a
you.
place.
Yeah,
they have a place in this world. I welcome all haters, and I love it because that's the thing that fuels you the most.
Yeah, and if they're not hating you, then that means you're obviously not doing something right.
Absolutely.
That's literally something I try to tell myself. But again, I'm 20-something, so I blame myself a lot. I listen to them sometimes.
Okay.
But it's a struggle.
Imagine how mature you are in your 20s. Mm-hmm. Imagine where you're going to be when you're in your 30s, when these things come back around.
Yeah. So if you kind of already touched on it, but if you could tell yourself 17 years ago where you would be, what would you say?
Oh my God. I was depressed and I was scared and I was shy and I was timid. I was so scared to be who I was because I was afraid that people were going to judge me for it, that people, of what people were going to think or treat me a different way. Mm-hmm. If I could go back and talk to that person, I would have been like, oh my God, girl, relax.
Yeah. Breathe.
You won't believe where your life is going to go. You won't believe where this, just live. Make all the mistakes you can. At least you can always look back and say, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But you never want to wonder what if.
What would you say was probably one of your most rewarding experiences? Now, I know you've had a lot. You've performed in front of a variety of different people.
I have. I've performed at some amazing places, like the Kennedy Center and the Howard Theater and places all around the country and for some amazing people. My biggest memory is having my mom sitting in the audience. That's my biggest memory.
Was she always
no.
Yeah, okay.
And that was a big thing for me. Is to I kind of got out of my head. Mm-hmm. Like seeing my mom on stage, I almost was like, oh, let me not focus on that. Let me just do what I need to do. Mm-hmm. And then take it all in. But yeah, that was the biggest thing for me. I think because it was more of a personal thing.
Yeah, definitely. It was a journey, and she got to see it.
Yeah, and then it just kind of, it changed our relationship from there. Just seeing that my mother was proud. Because she had her big Galaxy Note, like, filming me. And it was a great thing for me. That is the most memorable thing for me.
What did she say to you after?
She said to me, you know what? I was watching you on stage and I thought, I can't believe that's my child. She said every time she watched me, she's like, I think like, wow, I gave birth to that. Like, I can't believe that's my child. She's like, I know you're my child, but I look at you like, and that for me is the greatest thing because it wasn't always that way. Mm-hmm. It wasn't always that way. I had to struggle. That was probably my biggest struggle through my transition.
Okay, so she wasn't always. Okay.
Definitely not. Okay. And if you are a transgender person or a gay person and you have the love immediately of coming out, you have that love of your parents and that support, you are one of the luckiest kids in the world. Mm. Because you fight people in the streets or in the world as far as what you're going through. You have to fight through that. Mm-hmm. You don't want to have to fight it at home also. So if you have that, you are one lucky kid.
Who was the first person that kind of accepted you?
My sister.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What did she say?
I told my sister first before I told anyone. Yeah. My sister Monica. She was just like, okay, if this is who you are, I love you anyway. I kind of suspected it, but like we all know, we all figured it out, but I love you.
How did you build those relationships maybe with those people that didn't quite understand or weren't always there?
They came around eventually.
Okay.
They, if they were truly my friend. I only lost a couple people that I thought were my friends.
That's amazing. That's good.
Only a handful of people that I thought were my friends, but that just means they weren't my friends.
Exactly.
I don't, because my thing is you don't have to understand it. Mm-hmm. You don't have to agree with it, but the respect is all I ask for. That's all we want is your respect, to be treated like everybody else. Not, we hope you understand and we will try to get you to understand, but if not, that's okay as long as you're respectful.
And that's inspiring right there to have that kind of confidence and, for those that are listening, that are watching, that might even be struggling, I think what makes your job is not just an entertainer, but you're literally an activist. Yeah. You're a spokesperson. People can look up to you. Yeah,
I think, I heard Oprah once say this. She said, what it looks like that I get to do, she's like, what it looks like to people is that I have a talk show, or that, I'm this person. But what that's just an outlet for me to do what I do, but my real calling is to inspire people to live to a higher level of consciousness, that's the real thing. You know, and everybody has something, you know.
Yeah.
The wonderful thing is everyone is called to do something. And my calling just happened to align with my profession, but not everybody's does. Because that's what we really want to do in life, is to inspire people and leave a mark and really help people. That's what we're supposed to do.
Change that one person.
Yeah, even if it's only one person.
Yeah, even if it's just one person. You were here, like Beyonce says.
I was here. I was here.
So one last question. What's next for you? Where will we be seeing you next?
Well, I will tell you, we just started a show at the Chateau Remix on Benning Road. You came to see me at Nellie's, but we've moved that show to a bigger venue.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because it was a little cramped in there, right?
Yeah.
So now we're at a bigger venue. It's at 3439 Benning Road. You guys can come see the show there on Saturdays and Sundays. It's a brunch show from 11 to 3. But I also have some other things in the works that I can't really talk about now. I wish I could.
Beyonce physically, right?
Yes.
You have?
3 times.
What? Okay, wait. I didn't know that.
I get asked that a lot in interviews.
Okay, so what happens when you meet? Okay, yeah, hold on. I lost my composure because she said she met the Queen Bee.
She's everything that you would ever think she is.
Okay.
As sweet as you possibly could imagine.
What did she say when she looks at you though?
Well, she'd seen my performances before on video. We had some mutual friends. And
mutual friends with Beyonce, casually Beyonce.
Well, no,
yeah.
But, you know, they're people that she's never. I think maybe that will be the day that I'm actually nervous on stage. Is the day that if she ever sits in the audience, I'll be like, oh my God, this is crazy. But she's watched videos and she loved it. So I'm thankful to have the blessing of Queen Bee herself.
She has the blessing of the Queen Bee. Bow down. Bow down to Riley Knoxx as well. Is there anything that you want to say to those that are watching that might be interested in this industry, or just watching in general?
Keep working at it. Even 17 years in the game, it'll be soon 18 in June. But keep working at it. If you're trying to be in the entertainment industry, or really in any industry, keep working at it, because even after 17 years, I still have to work at that. I still work on what I'm doing, and that's how you become among the best. That's how you become really good at what you do, is to constantly work on those things. Even the little things, that some people just may not hone in on. Like, you just keep working and keep working and keep working and try to be better. You don't ever want to be too comfortable. Because when you become too comfortable, that's when someone else slides in and is there to take your place, or or knock you down or whatever. And don't ever be afraid to fail. I've never been afraid to fall. I've fallen on stage. I've had things happen. I've had wardrobe malfunctions and hair malfunctions and everything. But you just have to get back up, and use those things to fuel what you do. Use those things as energy. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This has been a pleasure.
So this has been an exclusive interview on Meet the People with the Riley Knoxx. What's your social media? Also, I gotta make sure everything.
RILEYKNOXX, Riley Knoxx, on everything.
Everything.
I own it all. Like on every whatever. You Google my name, it's on every single platform. I made sure that I own all of it.
Google me. Google Riley Knoxx.
There's no underscore. There's no nothing. It's just Riley Knoxx.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. This has been amazing.
All right, and make sure you stay tuned for more episodes on Meet the People.